Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Veteran Nation. We got a new episode for you. We are live again this week. And as usual, I am joined...
Can't hear you, Skipper.
Oh. How about now?
Oh boy, here we go again.
You got me now.
Leave it to the Marine.
Stand by.
Hey, guess what though? That gives me I can plug without any interference from the Marine. Hey guys, buy my coffee because I'm supporting 22-0. So everything this weekend.
Check.
Portion of that is going to go to
Check.
22-0. And Juan's agreed
Check.
to meet that. So
Let me jump out and come back in.
yeah, coffee, merchandise.
Hold on, Thomas.
Here we go. Hey, I got to plug without you. Interfering with your one piece of merchandise.
No, I'm glad you get your plugs in. No, actually, if you ever go...
So if you want coffee, TC Pearson at protonmail.com.
See, that really disappoints me. It shows you that...
I got it all set up tonight, Skipper.
It shows me that you don't really know all the type of merchandise that we have in our store. And that's shared by you and I. We've got hoodies in there with the Veteran Nation logo. We've got coffee mugs, as you saw, I had the one. We've also got stickers in there. So we're going to have to get some new stuff in there. We should probably get some of your Black Robe Regiment. Yeah, we'll get some of that stuff in there.
How's this work? The camera's not working.
We'll be hawking our wares everywhere.
We're a big deal now, so
This is true. We are getting to be a much bigger deal. I got on the eve of Elon Musk taking over Twitter, I got taken down. But I have a new account, and because of the connections we've made, it's been expanding.
You disappeared?
Yeah. They took my account down. Yeah.
They did. You retweeted my tweet.
Oh, that's the new account at Vet Nation Pod.
You've had more Twitter accounts than Eve had personalities.
They do not like me. They do not like me at all. It's, but hopefully there's new management.
I like you, Skip.
I appreciate that. It's always good to feel wanted. But yeah, they've got new management, so hopefully they'll let me stick around this time. In the meantime, I did a couple things. I've expanded our TruthSocial account, so that one's getting really good.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And when we get to the ability to where you can log in, that'll be a shared account, so you can push.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Except I don't have a government job anymore, so I actually have to work during the day.
Well, we'll expand your brand all over. Part of the Vet Nation family, if you will. And then also, I started us an Instagram. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to figure it out. It's just another way for people to reach out to us and get in contact.
If you tell me you're starting a Snapchat for us, there are no 15-year-old girls that are veterans, right?
I honestly contemplated that in the very early days of Vet Nation because I did not know anything about Instagram. So yeah, that was all new to me. And I was used to Snapchat, but I think Snapchat is just going to keep a place where I personally go on there and I just post memes. So it'll be more of that.
You and memes. You like your memes.
We do. I love memes. I think they're really good for everyone, I do want to give a shout out to a friend of the show. He did tell me to tell Juan hello, our friend Tommy in LA, Tommy Karate. He is watching the show and just told me to turn up the mic, so I did that. Hello to Tom. And yeah, I just thought I didn't bring any real headlines in because there's two big things that I thought.
I've got an idea real quick.
Okay.
Since Colonel Wimbish is still hanging out and watching, why don't you just bring him in?
That'll be good. Yeah, we'll bring him in as our guest.
Yeah,
It's always good when we can bring in other veterans, and I
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure Lee and Carl won't mind us hijacking their guest. But
Well, it's good that he still rubs elbows with enlisted people like me.
you know, the world needs ditch diggers too. Did you ever watch what was it? Caddyshack?
Wow. Did you just ditch digger me? You
I
just ditch diggered me.
I did. But hey, I was enlisted at one point too, so yeah, I definitely had a broom and pushed water off the tarmac.
You went to the dark side. Hey,
There he is.
Candidate Wimbish, thank you for joining us. Oh, no, he's back. He's out again.
I'm still here, yeah. Hey, I just
There you
can't help but listen. You guys are fantastic, number one. Number two, NCOs lead the way. My first platoon sergeant, when I walked in the 82nd Airborne, said, "Welcome aboard, sir. I see you're still a leg. You haven't gone to jump school yet." I said, "Is that why no one was saluting me when I came to the division?" He said, "Absolutely, sir. But my question to you is, how long can you tread water?" I said, "Until you tell me to stop, Sergeant." "Well, you might make it, Lieutenant. Welcome aboard." So,
I thought, when were you at Bragg, sir?
1971 through 74. I split my time there between the 82nd, 1st Battalion 508 Bobcats, and 3rd Brigade, and then I went over to 5th Group with Special Forces, and was all set, ready to go.
I'm getting goosebumps. I was 82nd Airborne myself.
All right.
What?
That's what I'm talking
All the way.
But you might want to listen in on Thursday night to the Laura Ingram show. You might have an opportunity to see me there. She's coming here to the Central Florida Fairgrounds, and I've got a ticket, and my goal is to be up front and hopefully cast a question about the current events that's really shaking our country and shaking the world. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity, and maybe even have a chance to speak with Governor DeSantis while he's there. I'm Byron Donalds from the Naples area, who's already in Congress, and with him and Mike Walsh, I think we can really start making some headway and change the direction that we're going through in this nation. But I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, but this gives me a great opportunity. I hope you invite me back again soon, Juan. And
we would love to.
Absolutely. We love hearing veteran stories, and supporting veterans who are running for office. That's something that we absolutely support.
I would love to have you on my personal show as well. And so let's make sure that Juan connects us so we can do that. And he's gone. We lost him already. I have that effect on a lot of officers. It just fakes out.
Not me. You're stuck with me. So, I didn't bring any headlines. I just wanted to talk about the big news of the day. How has your Twitter experience been?
Did you? Juan says he's about to leave too.
The quality of show.
This is your network, Juan. You can't go.
Yeah.
How was my Twitter experience today?
Yeah. Have you been? It's been, depending on which side of the aisle you are. It's been an Armageddon or it's been glorious.
Well, I think the world is ending. The world is ending. Sean King got off. Sean King said he couldn't stand to be on the platform anymore with the only African American to own a social media platform, and so he got off of Twitter. I think for about 12 hours, and then he came back. So
what's your favorite?
It's like a serial killer returning to the scene of a crime.
What's your favorite Sean King euphemism? Because a lot of people came up with some funny names for him.
I honestly stopped paying attention to Sean a few years ago because I identify as sane.
Well, the most popular one has been Talcum X. Also, I saw Martin Luther.
I love the Talcum X one. We've been calling him that for years.
That and Martin Luther
Well,
Cream.
well, if people don't know, there is some legitimate questions about the veracity of Sean's claim to being African American.
Yes,
And much like Rachel Dolezal,
yes.
if anybody remembers that story, there is some doubt as to whether or not he's actually what he says he is.
He claims that because he has a white man listed on his birth certificate, he claims that his mom was notorious for cheating, which is a nice thing to say about your mom. And
Well, that's a wonderful thing to say about your mother.
And he claims that she told him he descended from, or his father was a light-skinned black man. But I think you're going to like some of these names, because I've got someone compiled a list of the names for him. Obviously, Talcum X, Thurgood Partial, W.E.B. DuBlanc, Martin Luther Cream, Cream Abdul.
That would be DeBlanc.
Oh yeah, DeBlanc.
That would be DeBlanc.
Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
It's really bad when a white guy can't say white in another language.
I didn't speak Swahili. Tupac Sugar. Bet He White. Alexander. Bet He White. Alexander Scramilton. David Allen Clear. This is my favorite, I think. Light Tyson.
Hey, speaking of Tyson, have you been paying attention to him this last week?
Yes, he has been just awesome for content this last week.
Now, I do not condone. I don't think what he did to the young man on the airplane was appropriate, especially considering his hands are dangerous and deadly. The kid probably deserved it, in the sense of he was being a pain in the neck. But that aside, Mike Tyson is reading and promoting Thomas Sowell. Like, I don't know if people understand just how profoundly pivotal, like, and axiomatic that's not the word I'm looking for, paradoxical that is, considering who he is and where he came from and the life that he's lived. He's promoting Thomas Sowell. That's a massive sea change in his life.
He grew up keeping pigeons as a young child. He would, on the roof of his building, would keep hundreds of pigeons right there in New York City. So that's why he was as a young kid, didn't, talk to a lot of people. And that's how he developed his lisp, was just by not interacting with a lot of people. So he's very interesting from where he started as to where he is now. Of course.
Juan's giving me the thumbs up. That must mean we've got a connection established.
Oh,
no.
Oh, it's the video, because
he's gonna write. See, this is why we need a camera in one studio. So we're just gonna keep going.
Because of our discussion about the Blue Falcon Award for the week.
I see. Are we ready to start talking about that?
We can at any point. You have a nominee and I have a nominee, so we can watch the video of your nominee.
Well, yeah, go ahead. That's gonna make me cry. So. Go ahead, one.
As border agents work to contain the current influx of people at the southern border, the body of Texas guardsmen who died trying to save two people in the Rio Grande River on Friday was found, recovered. Texas Army National Guard Specialist Bishop Evans, just 22 years old, and he'd already served in Kuwait and Iraq. Meanwhile, the White House appeared to blame the state of Texas for his death.
The loss of his life, and we are grateful for the work of every National Guardsman. I would note that the National Guard work for the states, and so he is an employee of the Texas National Guard, and his efforts and his operation were directed by there, not by the federal government.
My 12-year-old could have written the right talking points there. We grieve with his family. We're thankful for his service. I don't know what that was.
That is a very good nominee. Because, this is an individual who clearly put themselves above others and has been left behind.
Feel a rant coming on.
Rant away, because I feel right there with you. It's, we talk and talk about the border, and, the Border Patrol is doing a very difficult job, and they're trying to navigate political waters that I wouldn't want to do. And I've been in that position before, and it's not a fun place to be. And this individual was very selfless, gave his life for people who are not Americans, who are trying to. Go ahead.
Sorry, Skipper. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
For the last, I was reminded yesterday that it was 2 years ago that I launched my channel, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Skipper, you and I've talked about it. You know a lot about my story, what's happened to me, and one of the critiques that I received was pointing out that law enforcement and EMTs and first responders aren't all heroes, and I'll lump in every single person in the military. And you and I've talked about this on this show and on my show, and that just because you put on a uniform, just because you go and do your job, doesn't make you a hero. And for the last 2 years, we've been hearing this hero rhetoric over and over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum, to the point where the 15-year-old working at the grocery store as a clerk is a hero because they're on the front line. And what you saw with this individual down in Texas, and I can't remember his name right now.
I don't have his name, but
that was heroism.
Yeah.
That was heroism. And he gave up his life for other people who didn't have a right to be here. They were trying to come here illegally. And he dove into that water. And he sacrificed himself. And Jen Psaki, representing the Biden-Harris administration, the co-presidency, remember that's their words, not mine. The co-president, representing that administration, had the balls to turn around and say, well, this wasn't our call. You know what? It wasn't your call, because you won't do anything about it. And so this man is dead, and his family is grieving him, and you have the guts to go on national television and say, well, he didn't work for us. That pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
That man's a hero in a way that most people in the military will never understand.
No, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with you.
Sorry.
And that's leadership is the person who makes that call, who makes the tough choice. And
I didn't mean this. I get.
No, you're fine. Because we just talked about this like right before we came live on the air. So this was the new nominee Jen Psaki for this. But yeah, you totally hit the nail on the head. This is what he was showing was the type of bravery and leadership that we should expect from our government officials, both in uniform and out. And unfortunately, those out are not towing the line. Those in uniform very much are. And this is an example of that. Not an easy job that he was doing, and he made a tough choice. So I hope
He died for it.
absolutely, and I hope he's honored by this nation for his sacrifice. And everybody, I hope takes some time to pray for him and his family.
Amen.
And
Bring up something else because I'm in talk.
no, we'll talk about the other Blue Falcon nominee. Someone
Again, Juan, I couldn't see that. Hold it up. Over. Yeah, I think Juan votes. Yes.
One is for hers.
I'll bring up the other one just so we can make it fair.
So this is a uniformed member, the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. This week.
Okay, for the civilians amongst us, and
Yes.
those of us that weren't in the Navy.
That
Like
is
the Marines are
yes,
the Navy, so.
equivalent to the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Sergeant Major is what's the title for Sergeant Major in the Army? The highest Sergeant Major in the Army?
Command Sergeant Major.
Okay, just okay. But yeah, so this is the highest ranking enlisted member throughout the Navy. And Juan, I sent you a graphic of it. Pretty much what he had said to a group of soldiers. They were discussing, living conditions and whatnot. And an HM2 asked the MCPON, that's Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, why we have sailors living in a construction zone with no parking, no hot water. And yeah, Reddit is where I found it, where it was being discussed the most. I've seen it on other veterans boards. And the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy told that.
What's an HM2?
HM2 is equivalent to a sergeant. It's a Petty Officer second class. And yeah, he was told to.
Yeah, I can see how you get Petty Officer second class out of HM2. That makes perfect sense.
HM2 is health and medical. So that's the way the Navy does theirs. Yeah. So the 2 is for Petty Officer second class. HM is his job. The Navy's really weird with those. You have to memorize those jobs. But yeah, he told them to lower their standards. So I don't know what type of barracks did you live in? Did you find them to be up to standards?
How old are you, Skipper?
I'm about to be 43.
Okay. Juan, show me age wise. How old are you with your fenders? Or write it down. Okay, so Juan's going to get this. Juan, do you remember the Single Soldier Initiative? Or the single...
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So the SSI was a military-wide endeavor where they tried to turn the barracks into less of a barracks living and more of an apartment or dorm style living in the military. So that instead of people coming in and inspecting you on a daily or sometimes twice weekly basis, so that your barracks were laid out exactly like they should have been in basic training, which was completely different for the married personnel, right? If you were married, you didn't live in the barracks unless you were like on a hardship deployment, like or assignment like Korea or something like that. So I came into the military as this SSI was coming in. So I never lived in the barracks after basic and AIT. But I had a lot of friends that did. And even with the Single Soldier Initiative, they lowered their standards. So I don't know how much lower you can get, but living in a construction zone is just, that's more than lowering your standards. That's like that's like ghetto level, right there.
There are times where I can totally understand not having hot water, but having the barracks under construction, there's no lack of housing I've ever found in the military. Like I lived in a
Okay, no fool for the Air Force. Juan, this is why you cannot not be on camera. You need to be part of this for some of this.
But and there are times in the military where you understand where you're going to have bad living conditions. You totally get it. You're out in the field.
Yeah, like when you're deployed.
Yeah, or if you're in training, you're going to be in a squad bay, something like that. You got it. But when it comes to normal living conditions, you can't find them somewhere to live, and you're telling them, "Oh, well, just lower your standards." That never looks well. That never looks well. And when it's coming from the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, that's not good at all. That's why it was my initial Blue Falcon award, because that's what a Blue Falcon is. The person who says, just lower your standards.
Well, yeah, you're throwing people under the bus, especially when you know that he goes home every night.
Yeah.
To to live with his wife. Or, I don't know. Maybe he's not married. Maybe I don't know.
But I think we decided
that's no different than the border the head of the border patrol here a couple of months ago, taking questions from guys on the border in, I think it was Texas, and basically telling them they just had to suck it up. Like, you just have to enforce these, whether it's constitutional or legal or not. You just have to suck it up and do it. And the guys were like, "You're asking us to do stuff that violates."
Yep.
Excuse me. That violates our oath.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's just suck it up. Just do it. Well, that's asinine. So, while I appreciate your nomination for the Blue Falcon, I really feel like, even though this one's funnier, yours is funnier, I feel like Jen Psaki and the Biden-Harris administration deserve it more. They deserve it more, on a serious note. But that doesn't mean we can't use the graphics.
I think that's going to be 3 votes, because I think when you mentioned that video, I was like, okay, yep, I think we're all on board with this one. So,
Juan, go ahead and play our sounder for us, please.
There's our graphic.
I'm just waiting for the screaming eagle sound.
I don't know if we don't have sound.
He doesn't.
I do want to go off on a little bit of a tangent, because I read something this week, and it kind of
Is this a Skipper rant?
a little bit. It's not so much of a rant. It's just was an interesting musing. This was a military member who was talking that he was claiming that he engaged in marriage fraud. And to be honest, I don't know if it necessarily is. What it was a male military member. He didn't say what branch, but he said that he wanted to get out of the barracks, wanted to get BAH, and went into a contract marriage. And you and I, we've seen that type of stuff in the military, because living in the barracks obviously sucks. You got to lower your standards. But he married a buddy of his. And they were talking to a lawyer. Like, the question was posed to a lawyer of, what kind of trouble can I get in? And the lawyer...
Wait. No, I never saw anything like that.
So, yeah, he was even though he was not a homosexual, he was in a gay marriage with a man, and did it to get out of the barracks, and was like, look, we're not doing anything. We're just buddies who live together now. And the lawyer was like, look, the U.S. government now says same-sex marriage is perfectly fine. Traditional couples get married for really stupid reasons, so I don't see what the problem is, and I kind of agreed with it. But being that it tied into this, I wanted to take it off into a little bit of a tangent on it.
Yep, I'm not gonna comment. Go ahead, Skipper. No, this is your rant. Go for it.
Oh, no, that's all I had for it. I just thought it was interesting, and to me, it doesn't seem like anything illegal. If I can't hold a Marine accountable for a contract marriage with a female, why would I try to do it with a male?
So many things wrong with this. That like we're just
It's a changing world.
there's the old statement that the emperor fiddled while Rome burned. I'm seeing a lot of fiddling going on.
No, I totally understand.
You know, I'm gonna. Did you send that link to Juan that I sent you about the United States aiding Ukraine in shooting down a troop plane?
I did not. I apologize. I did not forward that one along this
fine.
morning.
So the stories just broke that the United States military has actually indeed engaged in shooting down a Russian aircraft that was carrying Russian troops. Aided the Ukrainian military in that. And Russia invading the Ukraine is an act of aggression. I'm not gonna dispute that. I'm not gonna argue against that. It's certainly a reality. I don't care what your view is about what's happening in the Ukraine, this Russo-Ukrainian engagement, all of the underlying politics going back, quite honestly, for centuries, for all of this and whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to war. We're going to war.
Certainly have us on that path.
And
watch the approval ratings. They're tanking. Got to do something, right?
Yep. And this is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with right now. And this ties into what you just brought up, Skipper, in that I know this is Vet Nation, right? I'm supposed to be this ultra patriotic, ultra everything military is, wonderful. And whenever our country says we need to send troops into war and combat, I should be on the side of that. And Juan's like, no, he's not even really paying attention to me, right? He's just saying no. Being pro-military, being pro-troop, means calling out this kind of garbage. And what I'll tell you right now is I would ask that every single person who has a child, thank you, Juan, I appreciate that. Every single person that has a child that is of draft age, encourage your child to identify as female. Because if this war happens, which I can't say that I believe it 100% will, but if this war happens the way I think it could right now, and the more we insert ourselves into this, and the fact that we just admitted that we helped shoot down an aircraft full of Russian troops, we aided in this. Russia just cut off gas supply to Poland.
This is not authorized by Congress at all.
Right. That means a war is coming. There's a war happening right now, but that means a war is coming for Americans.
That's an illegal act.
Means your boys, that's an illegal act. I will tell you right now, tell your boys to identify as female, because that's the precedence that they have set. We do not draft females. Tell your boys to identify as female. And if that means they have to marry their buddy and go live in an apartment somewhere, lower their standards, then so be it, because that's what they've done. So a somewhat amusing story ties into this. We have got to stop sacrificing our young men, especially, for wars that have nothing to do with us. You want to know why 22 vets a day or more are killing themselves? Because they're going places, they're putting their lives on the line for other people. I've had a crappy week, okay? I've had a great week. I've had a crappy week. And they're putting their lives on the line for people who are never going to impact us, for people who are only interested in fueling the military-industrial complex. And you know, that old song by Neil Young, and I do not like Neil Young at all, but the senator's sons don't go to war. The president's son is never going to go to war. It's my son. It's my kid. It's my kid that I have to worry about losing to this. For what? And I got Jen Psaki saying, oh, that's Texas's fault because they made him do it. And they will do everything in their power to get us enmeshed in another shooting conflict where American soldiers and American Marines and American airmen and American sailors are going to die so they can take our eyes off of all the other garbage that they're pulling. So yeah, tell your kids to marry their buddy.
Yep. Can't disagree with anything you said there. I think we're on that path. I think, the way they've done things and changed the rules, I think you'd be, kind of dumb to not try to take advantage of them. Play by the rules of the game that they laid out. So, Juan, do we have any videos? Okay, it looks like we got a couple videos. Yeah, we need to bring up the feels a little bit.
Better Nation's supposed to be amusing.
Let's see.
Play a small part in dismantling these institutions for the next generation. I make sure that my daughters know that they can do anything. Hey, how's that firewood coming, sweetie? It's gonna be a cold winter. So learn from us. My wife and I are proof that you don't have to fall into problematic gender roles in your marriage. Isn't that right, honey? Give me all your money! Honey, do something. Be the change you want to see in the world by standing up to the systemic power imbalances between men and women. By standing up to this man while I run away.
I would cap him just for being that way.
Thanks, feminism. You saved my life.
I love it. So true.
I would like, my intent, sir, was just to take your wallet. Now I'm just going to kill you. In Minecraft.
The same people that would have a problem with that are the same people who talk about toxic masculinity.
No. See, I'm trying not to rant anymore.
Oh, we got any others?
Oh, I'm sure he's got something.
He's always got something up his sleeve.
So there's a lot of talk about educational debt forgiveness. Because after all, an 18-year-old doesn't understand the ramifications of taking out a $100,000 loan for his college. But an 8-year-old can completely understand the ramifications of taking hormones and cutting off his hoo-haws, right? Isn't that it? Bless your hearts.
Love to bless your heart. Yes. Yes, that's amazing.
I swear to God,
there's nothing to say to that.
Everyone's insane.
You know what? Just bless your heart.
You and I were sitting here. We've got martinis, and we're just laughing as the world burns.
I'm done. Oh, go ahead, Juan. I have nothing to add. She's amazing. Find out who that is and get her on our show.
Teacher, your award goes to this guy.
Give me the phone. No, I don't want it. Give me the phone. I don't want it. Here's your choice. You give me the phone, you might get it back in 8 minutes, or I take it to the office and you never see it again.
Why?
Because you're not supposed to have your phone out. You know how hard it is sometimes to be your teacher. I should be able to come to school and teach instead of coming to school and babysit.
I don't like this. 8 minutes until spring
just like there again. Find out who that guy is, get him on the show. That's all I have to say.
I'm glad we
When a
can.
video is that good, I don't care what the context is. When a video is that good, there's just nothing else to add to that. There's nothing else to add to that.
I like that we can end a serious show laughing. That's always fun.
Well, I needed that. I needed a good laugh.
You
And it wasn't even at your expense, Skipper.
we got another one. It looks like. Do we?
Oh, good. Yeah, it looks like we have another one. This looks like a guy who might marry his buddy to get out of the barracks.
Sure is good to see the Navy getting their PT in. Listen, did you know that Albert Einstein never wore socks? Now you do.
Okay. The Navy vets have to hate our show. They're probably like, I'm watching that show.
It's a good thing I had Travis on while you weren't here, and we'll never get another Navy guy on.
You plugging
Although
anything?
I think we need to. Am I plugging anything? Juan, are we done with videos? Juan says we're done with videos. Once again, please, we are doing the 22. I am personally doing a 22-0 drive to raise some funds for the 22-0 organization. It's a relatively new organization that's out there. But they're serious about. And I'm not knocking any of the others, but these guys are like grassroots, down to earth individuals. We've had them on the show. They are really about being there in real time, not just raising money, but in real time being there for people who are suffering. And I mean, they've checked in with me. Like, hey, you guys have been quiet on Twitter here lately. What's going on? You all right? And I'm like, yeah, I just have I'm an enlisted guy. I have a job, I'm not enlisted anymore. But they've been reaching out to me even when I'm apparently quiet. So these guys are real, and they're doing their level best to stir people up into realization of what's happening with the 22 vets a day that are taking their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And lest we forget, it's not just guys in combat. It's a lot of people.
Yep.
Who have lived that military life. Officers, enlisted, non-coms, all of them are struggling. And so please, I'm selling merchandise. One, yeah, it benefits me, but I have a vet who makes my coffee, and I have a guy whose dad was a Vietnam vet who makes my merchandise. So not only are you helping me with a little bit of income, but you're helping two other vets with income. And a portion of my proceeds are going to that. And the guy who makes my merchandise is matching that. And Juan is matching that. So whatever I raise up to $100, Juan will match, and Kim and his wife will match. And I don't think we're going to make 100. I don't think I'm going to make 100 between now and the end of the month, which is on Saturday. So please reach out to me, TC Pearson on Facebook, tcpearson@protonmail.com. If you place your order between now and Saturday and I get the payment, I will give a portion of my proceeds, because I really want people to understand we're losing as many vets to suicide as we've lost in conflict since World War II. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable.
Amen.
At all. And it's not for me alone. It is literally for those people who actually I was nobody. I did not serve during war. I didn't do anything stellar. This is for the real people out there who are suffering. So please, 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 please do something. That's all I have to say.
And what I'll plug is I'll tell everyone, hey, on Facebook, join our group, Veteran Nation. On TruthSocial, we're Veteran Nation. On Twitter, I am Vet Nation Pod, and now we're on Instagram. It's Vet Nation Show, so you can always go to those. I'll tweet out and push out our Teespring for the show merchandise. You can help me support my 7 gender fluid children with their as they explore their sexuality. No, I'm joking. What you're gonna do if you do there, you're gonna support the show. We're gonna be buying new equipment, stuff like that. Lots of stuff to make the show better. We're working.
We are working on something really big, guys.
A couple of things really big.
A couple of really big things. I just want people on, and this is not talk. We're serious. We've got something in the works in Skipper's End, and once we get that lined up, we're going to start working on getting it in my area, and so this is actually going to be really cool. Really cool and actually funny.
Yeah, we see this as a big thing to help vets all over the country. It's going to be an event, but we hope to have multiple of them all around the country. As this show expands and grows, we're doing cooler stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We'll be here again next week. And you can always reach out to us, join us in the conversation. If you have any questions, you need help with anything, reach out to us. You have our plugs. And thank you for being worth serving.